How many more years do you really think Brady will play?
Well, Skip, I believe it's really important for him to reach that milestone that he set out there for 7, 8 years ago. He said, I'm gonna play until I'm 45. And he has a lot of other guys talking about playing to that age. You hear Russell Wilson saying he wanted to play until his 40s. Aaron Rodgers has mentioned playing into his 40s. Drew Brees says, and we saw what happened, Skip. I just believe until you get to year 10, I was at year 5, I was like, man, if I could just make it to 10. And then once I got to 10, I took it year by year. And I think that's what Tom Brady, although he has that on the horizon, 45, man, 45, play until I'm 45. That'll give me 23 years. I believe he takes it year to year. Skip, I believe Brett Favre was going to play again until he got hurt in year 20, and basically that ended it. And he's like, you know what? And it gets harder to come back from these significant injuries because if you look at all the injuries that he had played throughout his career to keep the streak alive, the separated shoulders, concussion, sprained knees, broken thumb, torn biceps. But it was in year 20, he had that separated shoulder, Skip, and it was like, you know what? I'm done. So I believe Tom when he says that, 45 is the destination that I would like to arrive at. But it's going to be contingent on how healthy he is up until that point. Let's see how this year goes out. I believe if he comes out of it, even if they don't win the championship, if he comes out of this season relatively healthy, he's coming back. But if he has an injury, and I hope it doesn't happen, I don't know if he's willing to man, do I really want to rehab instead of train? Because for the most part, Skip, he's been able to train, and we saw the thing where he had a MCL tear. He had that repaired. But that was really the first time that I've heard of Tom having surgery in an offseason since 2008 when he had the knee? Well, that was during the season. But, he rehabbed that. Other than that, Tom, the season ends, he probably take a week or two down, and then he's back training, getting ready for the upcoming season. So I think everything is contingent on how healthy Tom is and how well he plays. But I do believe that 45, it means something to him because he put that out there. I believe Drew Brees would have played another year had his body not fallen him. Skip, his body Drew was playing well, Skip. He was in the MVP conversation. And then something happened. He took a hit, a routine hit.
And his ribs cracked. Yep.
A bunch of them.
A bunch of them. Yep. Okay, so your gut feeling right here, right now, given health, if he has pretty to very good health.
He'll come back next year.
So you'll say this year and one more, and that will be it.
Yep.
So I hate to point out, for our viewers' sake, that we've gone now, we're getting into our
5 years.
5th year.
Yep.
That each year you've said maybe one more, maybe one more, maybe one more.
The one thing I was right about, I said it was going to be a last one in New England.
Okay, I'll give you that one. And because it was his last in New England, and because he has found football utopia in Tampa, with a team that is as talented as any other team in the league, you can make a case they are the most talented team.
Well, they're the most talented team he's ever been on.
Well, definitely that. But wall to wall.
Oh, absolutely.
Weapons, defense.
Yes.
It's pretty great.
Yes.
And it looks like it could last a little while.
Yeah.
And I loved what he said yesterday because he's so self-aware. His point yesterday was to Jim Gray, or this actually 2 days ago, he's saying, look, is my arm going to get stronger this year? No. Am I going to get faster this year? No. Am I going to be able to throw it farther this year? Although he did lead the league in air distance last year because of Bruce Arians' offense.
Right.
It required him, it asked him to throw it farther than he was ever asked to throw it in New England. And I thought he threw it great. I didn't see any diminishing arm talent, but it's also not going to get better at 44 or 45.
Right.
So he's saying, I accept that. But the point is, he said, in the end, all I care about is, can I still play at a championship level at 44?
Right.
The big answer is yes, because I, for one, I will not be at all surprised if he wins MVP next year. He's going to be right in the middle of it because of the offense he runs and because of the weapons at his disposal. And I'm talking about the running game and the receivers.
Yep, correct.
And it's deep in talent. And again, their offensive line the other day, somebody was ranking offensive lines, and it was in the middle of the pack. And I'm like, I don't see it in the middle of the pack. I
think they took the totality of it, Skip, because he did get hit a lot early, but they shored it up like the last 5 weeks of the season. And then going into the playoffs,
Yeah,
They were
the
pretty
ranking
good.
I saw was not high on Donovan Smith, the left tackle,
Right.
or Kappa, the left guard. But remember, Kappa got hurt and didn't even play through the playoff run.
Well, Worth is their best offensive. Christian Worth is their best offensive lineman.
And
He's special.
I told you the other day, at some point, he will segue over to the
Yeah.
left, I assume, and be the protecting tackle, the blindside tackle.
He's legit.
Okay, so given that, Brady is saying, I've actually been able to maintain championship level for a long time without getting any better, but I don't get any worse.
Correct.
And he said, I do that through my workouts, my recovery, my training. Okay? Has he not found some magic formula that works for him?
He said that. He says he hadn't gotten any worse. He hadn't gotten any better. What's the key to that? Injury.
Okay.
As long as you don't suffer an injury, you can stay there.
Okay.
Especially, and he hadn't had any major injury.
Okay, but he is on course. He's going to set the all-time sacks record because he's played so long.
He played 21 years.
Okay?
What do you expect?
But don't tell me he doesn't get beat up because that night in Chicago, Lord have mercy.
That
That Thursday night game that they lost.
There are going to be games where he gets beat up, and then there's going to be games like the Super Bowl where he gets hit once.
Yeah. Well, Khalil Mack hit him a bunch of times.
Right.
And knocked him around.
Right.
And I still believe he was concussed at the end of that game when he was doing this.
As long as you don't have situations where you're getting the Chicago or you're getting the Rams.
Well, you
or
can't have it
the Saints
consistently.
Right.
I
You're getting
agree.
battered at 44.
Okay, so then he concluded in these quotes, he's saying, look, I play because I love it.
Yeah.
Well, if you still love it, that's all that matters. That's the bottom line because he said, I love to compete.
Right.
Well, so do you.
Yes.
But at 35, right, 35, your body said, I can't compete for you anymore.
No.
I can't do this. And so if your body defies you and betrays you, as Drew Brees did, then you just say, okay, well, this is no fun anymore because it's not fun to stay hurt.
Skip, I loved everything about football except football at that point in time because I just couldn't do the meetings.
Yeah,
See, Tom loves the meeting. Tom
he
loves
loves
like
the
just
prep.
rewind it. I like, man, I don't want to take any more film home and watch it.
All right.
I don't want to watch any more film at practice. I like, can I just show up to practice and play? And that wasn't an option. So the next best option was to leave and go to TV. But Tom loves everything. Tom loves practicing. Tom loves film study. He loves getting on the planes and having fun with the guys.
And now, key point, he has a coach he actually loves to be around because he's fun. Bruce Arians is just a lot of fun to be around, right?
And Skip, Tom Brady for the first time looks around and gets treated like the player he deserves to be treated as.
First time ever.
He's like, hold on. You mean to tell me I get to treat? He probably got a different parking spot, get close to the building. He gets privileges that he never got in New England, and he was there for 20 years, and he gets this after being there for 2 months.
Yep. So here's his concluding point to Jim Gray. He says, we shouldn't stop our life, even though we love something, because it's just someone puts an arbitrary timeline on it. Mm-hmm. Very true.
Right.
Just because no one's ever played to 44 or 45 at a high level.
Right, especially at a skill position. Blanda kicked till he was 48, but he was just a kicker.
Got it. We're just talking about quarterback.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Because there's the old the theme that quarterbacks back in this is like 20 years ago, that all the statistical, historical stats showed you that when you get to 38, you start to hit the quarterback wall. Well, obviously, he's way beyond that wall.
Correct.
So he's saying, I don't care what history says.
Well, hell, he's been to more Super Bowls after the age of 37 than any other quarterback has been to in their career.
So
you're talking about from 37 to 43, where he's at, as opposed to all the other quarterbacks in history.
Okay. So he's saying, don't tell me what's happened in the past because I'm shattering this mold because I'm happy, I'm committed.
Right.
I'm reasonably healthy. He got his knee fixed, and I do think it was sounds like it's a pretty serious injury. Right. And I have a really good team with a coach I love in an organization I really love.
Right.
And what's not to love about this? So to me, again, I'm going to knock on wood for him. Given health, I don't know why he couldn't play for 3 or 4 more years. Would it shock me if he played till 50? And again, you're going to laugh out loud at that. But would it shock me if Tom Brady played football at age 50? It wouldn't shock me at all because he's found some way to generally be able to ward off the week-to-week soreness through his pliability or his diet or however you want to say it. You can laugh at it if you want to, but it's working for him.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and
Okay.
you can do bands and tubings
Yep.
if you play that position.
Yep.
I don't recommend that for an offense or defensive lineman. I don't recommend that for a linebacker trying to do banding and tubing and thinking you're going to play 10, 15 years.
Remember in his sessions in Montana, we saw Tom versus Time, and they're all over Edelman and Amendola. They're going back and forth about don't lift weights, and Edelman says, "Do you know what I do? Do you know what do you know the punishment I have to take?"
Yeah, he wouldn't have lasted as long as he did just doing tubing.
No,
but I think Skip, it's not people. It's the NFL. They've said, Coach Walsh had a saying, 10 years is about the time and you start moving on from players. Quarterbacks, they said, okay, this time, and you start moving on. So the NFL, the teams set that guideline. It's not the fans. The fans want to see a guy, as long as you can play, they're like, okay, let's have him. But the team's like, nah, we think we start diminishing returns, and we're going to, get off you a year early as opposed to a year too late.
Shannon, this man's going to haunt you for much longer.
Skip, like I said, I get this year and next year, barring injury. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I don't want to see him like Brett. Brett's had to stand on the sideline. He got hurt, Skip, and I want to see him finish out the starts and put that record out there that nobody's going to break. Nobody's going to break his career starts record. Because what is he at? Brett's at 297. I think he's about to catch him.
Tom Brady is watching right now, writing down in his little notebook. Shannon Sharpe says, "I'll only play until I'm 45."
45.
Yep. You've 45. Been motivating him
45.
For the
Thank
last
you for
couple
that.
of years.
45 is good.
Really, I guess we have you to thank at this point.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, because all the time I can get. Oh, and I'm looking forward to week 4 when he goes back to Foxborough. That one I will be circling on. What a comeback there.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.